Symmetry, or a lack of. Muscle imbalances, how to fix those muscle imbalances. It's one of the questions that I get asked a lot, and we're gonna try to fix it. You know how those motivational gurus always say something like, let's worry about what we can't change. That's exactly what we're gonna do in this video. So the first thing we can't change, the second one we can. So let's start with the first one. Let's get it out of the way once and for all. Genetics and the insertion of the muscles, it's something that you cannot with. Have you ever seen people with uneven abs? That's their insertion. That's their genetic code. They can't do shit about that. What about that dent in the pecs? In the middle of the pecs here, the dent. Some people go wider on the left than on the right and stuff like that. So that's genetics. You can't really do anything about that. So learn to love yourself like I did, because my abs are uneven ever since I was born. Now, even though I can't see them because I'm finishing my bulking phase, when I'm cutting, I can see them and it's like, okay, I found a way to love you. Now let's worry about what we can fix. So, what we can fix derives from our everyday posture and some tweaks that we can do about that, and the way we train. So I can have a bigger bicep on my right arm than I have on my left arm, that I can work with. Let's start with the posture first. So, my genetics specifically makes my left pec pop a little bit more than my right pec. And because of this, maybe, and because of my posture, for instance, when I sleep to my right side, I'm kind of pressing my right pec inside, and I'm giving more room in my left pec to develop. Because if I do it on my left side, and I've tried it, my arm goes numb. And believe me, this has been a lifelong battle. So I
try to sleep on my left side, but there's always the problem with the pillow. The pillow might be big enough to sleep on the left side, but then it's so big because the space between my shoulder and my head is big enough so that I have to externally rotate my arm, and that hurts a little bit. So I lack a little bit of mobility on my left shoulder, so I gotta work on that as well. But I was able to get two medium-sized pillows, which make a big one, and I can throw my arm, underneath or in between both pillows. So that's perfect for me.
But that was a lifelong battle. Some of these things you're gonna find out for yourself, maybe, through trial and retrial. But obviously, if you're followed by someone who really knows their stuff, like an orthopedic surgeon or a physical therapist or even an osteopath, that'll help, obviously. Now, as for muscles, you might be a little ill-developed or uneven on your muscles because of the way you work out. If you have sport-specific stuff that you're working on, if you're a tennis player, you're obviously gonna have the right arm a lot more developed than the left one. I also remember Deion Sanders, and I heard that he had, I think it was the right hamstring that was a little more tight or a little shortened in comparison to the left one, which made him a beast because he needed that leg drive specifically for the sprinting action. And when they tried to stretch it too much, he lost velocity, he lost speed. So if you're sport specific, you should be wary that if you try to fix those imbalances a little too much, it might come as a detriment to your specific sport. However, if this is not your case, and if you want overall aesthetics and symmetry and proportion, let's work it with a few tips. The first one is trying to change from barbells to dumbbells on most of the compound movements, or some of them at least. So if you're doing a bench press, for instance, you can do a bench press with a barbell, and your stronger side will always take over a little bit, even though you might not realize it during the actual movement. So as soon as you start doing it with dumbbells, you'll notice the difference. Everyone looking at you will know that one is a little higher than the other, or that you're having a little harder time doing it with the left versus the right, and you can do it with basically anything. Second one, which follows the first one, and you can obviously do it with dumbbells as well, is unilateral work. Work on one arm or one leg at a time. You can use rubber bands, you can use dumbbells, you can use, this exercise, Bulgarian split squats, is perfect for someone who has a thicker leg than the other, for instance. This will also help you work on your mind-muscle connection. When you really think about the muscle that you're working, let's say you have a bigger bicep on the right arm than the left arm. If you really work on it, and if you feel the tension on that bicep. You're going to be able to start having that mind-muscle connection and contraction power and intelligence in your muscles. Also, you can add one more set per exercise. For instance, let's say we do biceps twice a week, and on each workout session we do 3 exercises of 3 sets each. We can do 4 sets for the left arm, for instance, and 3 sets for the right one. So we're always gonna have, weekly, we're gonna have 6 more sets of total volume for the bicep, the left bicep. So it only has to grow. So if you consider that you can do this with any muscle, any exercise, and if you stay consistent, don't do it for 1 week and say, oh, it doesn't work. Of course it doesn't, just 1 week won't work. Let's finish this with a couple tests. Let's try the pecs first. Let's squeeze the right pec, see pro, peek, peek, peek the right pec. Now the left one. Is it exactly the same? Now once, twice, now both. Yep, now lay off one of them and keep the other one flexed. Let's try it with our glutes. Squeeze the right one. Yep. Now lay it off. Squeeze the left one. Good. Lay it off. Now both. Now let's let go of the left glute. Can you do it? Can you do it? As you can see, these little tweaks might help you in the long run, even though it sounds a little stupid, I know. Oh, and martial arts people, always practice your kicks to both sides. Oh yeah. If this helps, do click the like button, subscribe, ring the bell, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook as well. And let me know what you want me to talk about later on. Till next time.